Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom to all the elders and the Akim and the sisters that are seeking the Lord's face for real. Okay? All right, what a wild time that we in right now. All of the governors have put forth their mandates to keep people from congregating. Got everybody wearing a mask in the grocery store. I don't like wearing a mask in the grocery store, but hey, you know what? I'll do that for now. But this whole virus thing don't spread like they're telling us. Fauci, Bill Gates waving his hands all around, talking about we need to vaccinate the global population. I mean, come on. Who's going to go for that? Like, there's too many people that know what's going on with the wickedness of the world. All right, this is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So right now, the whole world is run by the wicked. And he put his face as the judge and the kings of the land. Okay? So, growing up, you get taught about all these different kinds and races of people, from, you know, your Native Americans all the way down to your Ethiopians, to your Eskimos. Just and they describe the different nations as the names of the land masses where they are. Okay? But that's not their real nation. There's an original group of nations that is biblical nationalities that was progenited after the flood, from Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's 3 sons. Okay, so where all these different ethnicities and nationalities came from, I'm gonna show you in Psalms 49 and 11. Right. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. And you look at there's an ad keep on popping up for a guy selling a book called "What Would the Rothschilds Do?" I think it was Rothschilds. What Would the Rothschilds Do is the name of this guy's book, talking about generating generational wealth. Okay, and it says in the commercial that, you know, their families and all of their offsprings is good for 200 years, even if they stop making money now. Okay? Right? Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Okay? Look into the Maccabees and find Alexander the Conquistador, one of the first conquistadors out here, that it was the Lord gave unto him this Edomite to be able to go conquer all these nations, and then left it to his generals, and then evils multiplied on the earth. Okay? And look at the time that we in now. There's a whole council running this world. And let me just jump real quick to Psalms 83, so I can just list some of those nations that's in that crafty council. Okay? Psalm of King Asaph, 83:3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Okay? So the whole deal is Jacob is the supplanter. All right? His brother Esau, his name means wasted away. All right? And how many times in the Bible is Esau indemnified by his own ways? Okay? Lest there be any fornicator, such as Esau. All right? Esau have I hated, Jacob have I loved. All right? And then the whole book of Obadiah, which I'm going to get into that a little bit. But Jacob is the original supplanter. He is supposed to supplant this messed up world by Yahushai, our Savior that sprung out of Judah. Okay? And in Matthew chapter 1, the first book of the New Testament, everybody wants to say, well, did you look into the New Testament yet? When we start preaching this truth like this, yeah, what's the first book in the New Testament say? it lists all the generations from David to Yahushai. Seed line of a man. Okay? If it was all about immaculate conception, they wouldn't have that whole lineage of men, of a seed line. All right? Because a promise was made, a covenant was made. Okay? And a new covenant is coming. All right? Psalms 83:3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And as soon as the name of Israel was no more in remembrance, that's when they got locked in their idea, their delusion, that they think that they can rule this heaven down here forever and ever, as long as they can make Israel may be no more in remembrance. All right, and then they even took it as far as replacing them, period, as a people with a different nation that doesn't come from Israel. All right, Revelation 2:9. Those who say they are Jews but are not. All right, so when you was raised up in America, I'm just using that as an example because that's what I know. Who did they tell you you were? Oh, they told you was white, or they told you was black or African American. You know, but where do you really come from? And then you dealing with your parents and your grandparents, they might be able to tell you, oh, we came from Spain, or we came from Ireland, or we came from, the Caribbean, or whatever. But even that is not telling you what your nation is. Think about me trying to tell my dad, hey, we're Israelites. That's just way over his head, but the seeds is planted. All right? And Israel, do your due diligence and figure this out, man. Find out if you Israel or not. Repent. Humbly ask. All right? But let me continue on with this. All right? Verse 4. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And then it starts listing these nations, which you won't hear anything about any of these nations current day. All right? The tabernacles of Edom. That's the generations of Esau, which Esau took wives of many nations. So Esau's seed is in different nations. And he was a fornicator. So maybe he's got seed out there that's not even on record. All right? And the Ishmaelites. All right? Was it? Muhammad is an Ishmaelite. All right? Some of the Arab and Middle Easterns is Ishmaelites. All right? But you will never see them being described as their nation, Ishmaelites. Actually, I was talking to a guy from Iran, and he said that he was of the Zoroastrian religion. And I was like, do you know what seed line you come from? And he said Ishmael. So some people know where they come from. Okay? And the Lord will use any of these nations to do whatever he wants. And in Psalms 83:3, the Lord is letting us know through Asaph, in the spirit of the Lord, that these nations are being used for this purpose. Okay? They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And what's a confederation? A whole group of people with the same consent, the same consent to the same idea. All right? The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, of Moab. All right? Moab is the sons of Lot, is the seed line of Lot. And the Hagarenes, I believe that's Hamites, Gebal, Ammon, Amalek. Amalek is the chief tribe of Edom. All right? And they're believed to they are the ones believed to be standing in as Israel now, Revelation 2:9. The Philistines, all right, with the inhabitants of Tyre, Asser, meaning like the Assyrian, also is joined to them. I think that's Japhetic. they have hope in the children of Lot Salah. And then it goes into, disappointing them and making reference of past times where, Israel prevailed against their enemies, or the Lord prevailed against Israel's enemies for them. Wild time we in right now. And, when America was founded, growing up, studying the Constitution and everything, it's like, wow, that's a really great idea. Yeah, man don't give rights, God gives rights. We all have a God-given right to be here and to be able to be free, quote unquote, okay? And that's where patriotism gets dangerous. Patriotism, the weapon of mass destruction, because a lot of people don't know that, yeah, there's America that has a constitution and has common law, but in 1898 or 1896, oh man, I don't know if I'm getting that date right, but there was an act passed called the Organic Act, and it defined the two different governments. All right, you have your constitutional government, which is your common law, and then you have the corporation, the United States corporation. All right, and what was it? Oh man, I don't have my paper, but it was in the movie Sonic the Hedgehog, Jim Carrey, Dr. Robotic, is trying to get into the house of the local cop that's Sonic's new friend, and he says, do you know that right now you're guilty of violating U.S. Code 104, Title 10, Section 104, and that is helping the enemy to the state. But what is that U.S. code written for? That's written for the corporation. That's not written for America with the Constitution and the common law. So a lot of times when our brothers and sisters are thrown into war and go enlist themselves to go get thrown into war, they're not fighting for the freedoms of, the constitutional America with under common law. They're actually going out to fight for the agenda of the corporation and the crafty counsel that goes along with it all. Okay? The world is given into the hand of the wicked. And basically, all this corporate shit is heartless. Okay? But it's been given life. It's been ordained to be able to work its way to a peak, which that peak is going to be, you look at this technology, you look at all this, all right? And you look at ID 2020 and the things that all this technology has been leading up to. Transhumanism, they're pushing this agenda. Here we go. Revelation 13 and 16. All right, let me just start at 15, because I just was saying that the whole corporate world has been given life, and ordained to have been given life. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay? So there's going to be a time where, it's going to manifest itself more physically, this whole beast system. All right? And if you're not going to bow down to it, you're gonna be killed. Okay, that's what this is leading up to. Thus saith the Lord. Okay, 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And let's just look at what causeth means. Greek word in the Strong's 4160. Poieo. Okay? And the definition is as follows. Here's a Thayer definition. To make, with names of things made to produce, construct, form, or fashion. And the original word that we're looking into is causeth. He causeth all, both great and small. Okay? To be the authors of the cause, to make ready, to prepare, to produce, bear, shoot forth. To shoot forth, to acquire, to provide a thing for oneself, to make a thing out of something, to render one anything, to constitute or appoint one anything, to appoint or ordain one that, to declare one anything, to put one forth, to lead him out, to make to do something, cause one to be authors of a thing, to cause, bring about, to do, to act rightly, do well, to carry out, to execute. Okay? With designation of time, to pass, spend, to celebrate, to make ready, so that the same time to institute the celebration of Passover. Okay, that's specific to that. To perform a promise. All right, now here's the Strong's definition. Apparently a prolonged form of an obsolete primary, to make or do, a very wide application, more or less direct, abide, agree, appoint, avenge, band together, to bear, bouray, bring forth, cast out, cause, commit, content, continue, deal, without any delay, execute, exercise, fulfill, gain, give, have, hold, journeying, keep, lay wait, lighten the ship. Lighten the ship. That's a good one. Because if you're gonna buck up against the system and you're not gonna bow down, you're gonna get killed, and that's lightening up the ship, man. In the olden days, man, they had to lighten up the ship, man. They would throw their own men overboard. Okay? And that's perfect, because a lot of the corporate mentality is just based on maritime law. You know, your ship. I mean, you go into a courthouse, it's a simulation of a ship. And you got the pirate up there, a clerk masquerading as a judge. All right? And there was a quote, the more corrupt the state, the more numerous their laws. Right? And there is just tons of laws, codes, this, that. I mean, it is unbelievable. It would take you a lifetime, multiple lifetimes to get through all of it, probably. I mean, miles and miles of library shelves, man. Fulfill, gain, give, hold, lighten the ship, make me, none of these things move me, observe, ordain, perform, provide, have, purged, purpose, put, raising up, secure, shoot out, spend, take, tarry, transgress the law, work, yield, compare. All right? And it comes from another word, praso. I'm not going to get into that. But basically, just to do. Causeth, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, when it comes to a microchip, that makes total sense. And all of this technology has all just been leading up to being able to have a tighter grip and lockdown on society. And with as much people as awake to what's going on, Revelation 2 and 9, the agendas of the wicked, the agendas of the rulers of this earth, you know, all your governors are complicit in selling you out, all right? Because they're all sold out already, all right? So your governors are subject to the Fed, man. And everything has been turned into a corporation, all right? And as of March 13th, which happened to be a Friday the 13th, now the Constitution is suspended. We're under FEMA control, okay? And that's a whole nother thing. I'm sure you could just research that on your own for days. And March 13th just happened to be a Friday the 13th, one of the wicked's high holy days that they just hold so dear to themselves, all right? And that no man might buy and sell, save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay? So what's going on right now with this COVID-19 thing is multifaceted. All right? If the wicked runs the whole world, tell me, how is the Lord going to be able to destroy the wicked without destroying the world that they built? Okay? But see, in this situation, a lot of private businesses are being destroyed. by not being able to go out and do their work. And yeah, to get some stimulus money, you just keep your damn stimulus money. Why don't you just stop robbing every damn body all the time? All right? If you were going to come and be handing it out physically, I would tell you could keep it. But you're going to just direct deposit it. Sure, whatever. I'll take it. All right? I'll use it to pay all the fines that I got come. I'll use it to pay tolls. I'll give that shit right back to you. You know it anyway. And you're giving $1,200 out, and you're going to collapse the economy anyway. All right? The economic system needs to be reconstructed. So the elite that run this world, the wicked that run this world, Job 9:24, they going to crash the whole system. So they can put everybody on this digital mark of the beast type economy. All right? And what's going on right now, man, this is a cakewalk. This is great compared to what is to come. All right? But all praises and Tawada to the Most High that, he's going to protect his chosen people that show that they love him by following his commandments. All right? And in Psalms 83:3, what was the first nation listed? Edom, Esau's brother. Kind of similar to the Old Testament when we had Cain and Abel, right? Abel was righteous, Cain was evil, right? And then they had both of their seed lines on the earth in a constant struggle back and forth until eventually the wickedness blew the whole earth out of proportion, and then the Lord flooded it, saved Noah and his 3 sons, okay? Shem, Ham, and Japheth, which all of the nations on the earth right now come from. Okay? You're not Mexican. You're not Greek. You're not Russian. You're not Filipino. Your nationality goes back to an original nation that's biblical. And the best thing that the devil has done in my eyes is convince people that this is not true. Convince people that men wrote this book. Convince people that, and look, you got the wrong people that have been issuing this out ever since they declared their self. And Muhammad and Christianity and Islam and Christianity came out around the same time. You had the priests of Baal who declared themselves to be Catholics working hand in hand with Muhammad to write the Quran, create these 2 different religions, Christianity and Islam, so they could be on the edge of a coin, playing all these wars and crusades from the edge of the coin. Playing both sides of the coin from the edge. All right? Just like, these police are pawns that are enforcing all this, putting themselves in harm's way. I mean, shit can escalate very quickly in a few days once, the food stops. All right, and then what? And they're saying they want to give their first responders whatever vaccine they come up with first. So let's say they do that, all right? And this is just a theory. We can talk about theories all day because you put your feet in the shoes of the serpent, because we're supposed to be wise as serpents and meek as doves. So you put your shoes in the serpent. You think about how the serpent thinks. Let's give the first responders the vaccine. That way, the first responders get all sick and jammed up from the vaccine that we give them. And then we can bring in outside forces, like outside troops and shit like that, to replace our first responders that actually care about us and we have families and stuff with them. They need to be removed out the way. Just a theory, okay? Just a theory. And you can say conspiracy theory, whatever. It is a conspiracy. Psalms 83:3 says that there is a conspiracy. All right, and we can make theories up about it all day long, but what's the scientific method? All right, you can only do things for the truth's sake. Even your lies helps out the truth. Because once your lies get exposed, hey, more people know the wicked man of this earth is being revealed. Okay? This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 15:6. 15:5. Behold. Oh no, I'm going to start at 4. Now I'm going to just start at 1, okay? 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Okay, so if you believe in the Lord, his word is this book. Okay, Ephesians 6:12. May your sword be the word of the Lord. All right, because Jacob's blessing isn't carnal. Jacob's blessing is spiritual. Esau's blessing is the sword. And look at what the whole world been running on the sword. Okay, you got all of the, what is it? Was it George Bush Senior? He made like $7 million or $1 billion selling firearms during World War I. All right, that's the blessing of the sword if I've ever seen it. Okay, and I believe them to be Amalekites because of what those little kids were saying in that classroom when Junior was listening to them when they blew up the trade centers, the Twin Towers, and then built the One World Trade Center. All right, they want to absolute you. They don't want you being one way or the other. They want you all the way compliant, and they'll take it to the point of even killing you, blowing up their own infrastructure. Whatever they got to do, they're gonna do it. All right, because they're sacrificing to, they're sacrificing to some principality. They're operating by the guidelines of some principality. And, fear not him that can kill the body, but fear him that can kill the soul. All right. Continuing on, 2nd Ezra 15, verse 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Okay. And even though no one's outwardly just out here, the leaders aren't outwardly out here speaking against us, they do things like put these governor's orders in place, keep us from congregating, bringing the word out. But a famine of the word is coming. For the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. All right. And let the wicked be wicked. Let the heathens be heathens, right? And let the righteous be righteous. Still, let the filthy be filthy still. All right? Verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And that's basically what we see, man. Yeah, we got pockets of peace. We can find peace. But across the whole world in general, for generations now, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. All right? For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. And I mean, the technology is in place. The chip is coming. All right? This thing is about to be done. This thing is about to be fulfilled. All right? Therefore, saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things. All right, and oppressing people is wicked. All right, ruling in righteousness, that's one thing, but oppressing people, pressure drop and drop on you. Hey. Which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. All right, so what are they doing? Let's look at some of the celebrity elite. All right, they running around with Marina Abramovich. You got Jay-Z. You got James Franco all hanging out with her, and look what she's into, man. Putting blood on walls and weird dungeon type rooms, and what a mess, man. Eating cakes that are shaped like humans, pulling the entrails and shit out of cakes. It's some sick shit, man. And who progenerated all that, all right? Who's that First Nation listed there in Psalms 83 and 3, all right? Edom. He's a weirdo, man. And only the top elites know about, who's who in Whoville. And, you had the Dukes of Esau, Alexander. I mean, this is messed up and weird, man. Because just go and look at the stories that explain, the conduct of Esau versus the conduct of Jacob. Look at how the blessings was passed out and dished out and issued out. All right. A carnal mind leads you to death. All right. And Romans 9:22 says, let me just bring that up. Or let me just finish off verse 8 here in 2 Ezra 15, in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. So it's a lot of blood, man. It's a lot of blood. And I seen there was an article saying false coronavirus claims, and it was talking about claims against Bill Gates and what he wants to do. But he's the guy, he got quotes saying, we can produce early childhood death. I don't know what show that was on, but it was a quick clip I saw. Producing early childhood death. That's one of his ways of, reducing the population. Georgia Guidestones. Keep the population at 500 million in balance with nature. That's whack, man. But the Lord has ordained that. And what else? Oh, his TED Talk, where he's like, we got 8 billion people, and if we do real good with vaccines and birth control, we can reduce that by about 7 to 8%. I mean, 7 to 8% of that many billions of people, that is a large chunk of people. And what has happened is they got everybody thinking like there's not enough resources, there's not enough space, there's not enough land, there's too many people. Well, when you herd everybody into your smart cities and don't allow people to be freely out there roaming, yeah, you can create that illusion, right? But the deceivers and the deceived are all the Lord's. Okay? And where was I at? Chapter 9 and 22. Romans 9 and 22. Now, what if God willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? All right. Let me go back up to verse 21. Hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another to dishonor? Okay. So what if God willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? Much long suffering, that kind of sounds like he's really building up this nations, building up their council that Asaph spoke about in Psalm 83, building up their council. To destroy it. Okay? Jacob's name was changed to Israel. He will rule as El. Yasha'Allah, princes of the power. And 23, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory. So everything's already preordained and predestined to happen. Okay? It's all planned out. The Most High. It's almost like there's no words that you can say omnipotent, omnipresent, but it's just more greater than that. Okay, 24, even us whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles, as he saith also in OC, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in that place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. Esaias also crieth concerning Israel, through the number of children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. Okay? So repent, humble yourself, follow the laws and commandments, come out of the ways of this world, the damn fake holidays, white good times Jesus, all right, thumbs up and all this. Like, the Lord is coming back with fire and flame, man. And shout out to the martyrs of Yahushai out in Bmore. Got that priest to say there is no book of Obadiah, but I'm just gonna go into Obadiah right now. Keep skipping past. I don't got markers in this one. Let me see. This one about to run out of batteries. Salakia, bear with me. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord, concerning Edom. All right. So when you read this, and this is why that priest was like, ain't no book of Obadiah, because all of their stuff is run by Edom. All right. They're trying to supplant us the whole time. Okay. Verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God, concerning Edom. And I heard another guy, he was saying a lot of truth. And he was doing like a large seminar where he was talking about, you know, who's who, and the different Edomites that are occupying Palestine and Israel. All right. And look at Trump, man. I can't believe that I was on the Trump train, yes, that back in 2016, yeah. But after about 6 months, we still getting chemtrailed. Oppression still stirring in my guts. Like, there is no answer or ends to this except for this biblical answer and end. And that's when I realized, hey man, this was all a ruse. And anybody that is out there on the Q train, I mean, that's a psyop of all psyops, man. It's just to placate all of them patriots who actually have their energy in a somewhat righteous path. But they're just straight confused, man. Trump being a supporter of Israel and rubbing shoulders with Benjamin Netanyahu and all that. I mean, why is America at all involved with what's going on in Jerusalem? At period. I mean, why we give them billions of dollars? You know, I'm just, it's beyond me, man. And how everybody can be complicit with it. I mean, there should be uprisings in the street, man. You're just giving our money away. Well, it's not our money. It's whoever printed its money. It's a debt note. So any dollar you have is a dollar you owe. So yeah, you could have built yourself a little mini, you know, empire, and you making a couple $100 grand a year, but you owe a couple $100 grand a year because that ain't your money, man. Ultimate gangster, the United States Corporation, man. Here, you gonna take my money.